Hello and welcome to another episode of Supercoach Insider. It's just Chris here, and I'm looking into my team. A bit of a review from last week, and of course looking into next week, what we're looking at. So this is how we went into the weekend. We went with Zeeble as the VC. We went into Gorn, so we gained an incredible 1 point. Didn't seem to hurt us too much. Obviously, the play really was probably Grundy. So I lost about 16 points there. Not too fussed on that. Actually, when I saw Grundy 120, I was like, oh, okay, like, whatever. Gorn can probably beat that. Didn't end up happening. Wasn't too upset about it. I went the double downgrade last week, and I brought in Riley Collier-Dawkins, and I also brought in Nathan Murphy. I loopholed Collier-Dawkins on the Friday night. I wasn't happy with his 43. Then I switched Sharp into defense and put Murphy on field. And so that was my the one that I was going to play instead. Now at halftime it looked fantastic because Murphy was on 40, and at RCD was 443. So I was like, I've already made the right decision there. But of course, gets into the game. I think Murphy had one possession in the start of the third quarter. Then got from a free kick that he got knocked out from. Took the kick, thank God, long kick. And then went off. So, that sucked. It could have been an 80 score or a 70 or something like that. So he actually played really well. I was quite impressed. Kind of forced into that trade. Obviously, we wanted the Frederick. Murray was dropped. I probably would have gone Murray over Murphy. So kind of got forced into it, but not too unhappy. I do think that he will come back, especially now with Howe gone for an extended period of time. I think he's straight back into the team next week, so we'll see how that unfolds. Really hoping that he doesn't have to work his way back through the VFL. Obviously, heroes. Dockers, big hero, played brilliantly. Did slow down a bit towards the end, but that entire Carlton defence just got overrun in the last quarter. I was happy that obviously McRae didn't have a huge one because a lot of people would have had the captain option on him. Titch obviously was great for me, as well as Taranto. I thought Taranto's game probably deserved a little bit more. I thought he was very, very good on the day. Probably not best on ground. Josh Kelly was. Am I right, Ben, or am I right? Brayshaw, I did mention this on the other pod. A little bit disappointed with his 70, but he still was the highest possession winner of the game for Freo. He played on the wing in the first half and then was moved on the ball halfway through the third quarter. And that's when his Supercoach started uptick. I think at the end of the third quarter, he was only on about 37 Supercoach. So he managed to have a pretty decent last quarter, despite the fact that there was literally, they got no scaling because it was a blowout and they were nowhere near it. So had that have been a normal game where it was a bit tighter in that last quarter, that probably would have been a 40 to 50 point quarter from Brayshaw, which would have had a little bit better result for the week. I'm not unhappy with the selection. I still like Brayshaw, still having him, all good. Moving forward, Zeeble and Impey are now the number 1 and 2 ranked forwards in terms of average for Supercoach. And isn't that just insane? Obviously, I had Dusty, that didn't help, but I was saved by Scott on field this week, which made me a little bit of cash as well. And unfortunately, McCreary, he was on 32 at halftime and scored 1 point for the entire second half. So hopefully he can get a game this week, but we'll see how that pans out. Obviously, what that ended with is me having a grand total score of 2225. Sorry. And with a round rank of 7,898. So it wasn't terrible. I actually thought it was a lot better than what happened, but it ends up that I was actually slightly under par, and I dropped rank for 47 places, which amongst everyone that in my leagues, I was actually a fairly good scorer. I think I was probably top 3 in all my leagues. So I know there's a lot of teams out there that had guys like Bont, which obviously went big and things like that. So so unfortunately is what it is. Still in the top 1,000, obviously. Hoping to move up again, because I did go into the double down last week. I've obviously built my bank, so I've got about 250k, 256k, and I'll be going one down, one up. This week I have 2 options. So a lot of it will rest on who is named. If Flynn is not named, I will be trading Flynn this week, which makes my team look a lot better, and I'll show you why. So Obviously, the one that I'll be getting will be Polter because it's the one that I didn't get from last week after going early on RCD. So I will be getting Polter. And, oh wait, I've got a sub in Fullerton first. And where's Polter? There we go, Caleb Polter. So that's my first trade, allowing me 411k. And then my second trade, what I really want to do, and this will depend on a couple of different things, I'm definitely going to be trading Sam Berry. He's the most obvious out that I have. So I'll be getting rid of Berry. And I've got two options. So if Marshall is not named, obviously I can't trade him in. If Marshall is named, I'm looking at getting in Rowan Marshall. And my team looks so good with Rowan Marshall in it. So if I can get Rowan Marshall, pull him in here. And I've got a sub in, let's say, put Scott up there in the midfield. And I'll get Marshall. Perfect. So I still have about 90k to play with next week to be able to make an upgrade. But look what this does to my team. So I'm able to, what I'll probably do. And the great thing is, obviously, Pies play the first game on Saturday. So you can actually loophole Polter. I can loophole McCreary. And I can play still Powell and Golden on field, and loophole Polter. So it makes it a little bit easier. But that really balances my side for the next couple of weeks. Only playing one forward rookie now on field with the 5 premiums makes my side like a ton better. And I do have some reliable rookie midfields scoring. So that's the way I want to go into this week. Obviously, the other consideration is I'll have to swing Laird back to cover Murphy because he's obviously already been named as missing. I'll pop the E on there just because it's not going to happen, but whatever. So yeah, that's how I want to go. However, it's likely that I've heard that Marshall won't play this week, which really hurts me. If that's the case, obviously I'm going to be going a different route. And if Flynn gets named, I'll be going a different route. And so I'll be trading out. I'll have to trade out Golden then. So there'll be 2 trades I'll be making: Golden and Berry out. And obviously we'll be bringing Polter in. So let's pull Polter in. And the other one that I'll be bringing in is going to be Josh Kelly. Now, part of this is price related, but there's a few considerations that I've gone into. So it leaves me with about 120k, which is a considerable amount to do another upgrade next week, which is great. It obviously means that I will be able to play with Laird moving back again. I still will be able to play 6 premium mids on field, which means I can still loop Polter this week and hopefully get him to play. But worst case scenario, I can actually play RCD on field, so it's not too bad that way. But it does mean that my forward line, unfortunately, I'm playing the 2 rookies down forward. However, can loop McCreary this week with Fullerton, which makes it a little bit nicer if Waterman is named. Now, I do believe that Waterman will be named this week with Stringer injured as well. So Waterman in, hopefully, will allow me to loophole McCreary. I'll be able to loophole Polter with Sharp and RCD, which makes it a little bit nicer as well. And then I'm just fingers crossed for Houston. So that is my plan. I've got the either way that I'm going. What do I prefer? I think long-term, Kelly might be a better play for cash purposes, but we'll see how we go. That wraps it up. I hope that you guys have a good week. If you need any assistance, hit us up on our socials. Obviously, you can hit us up on SC Insider 100 on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. All of our audio platforms, of course, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, PlayerFM, and Podbean. And, of course, you're probably watching this on YouTube anyway, but search for us, Supercoach Insider. That's me, and you'll catch up with Ben's team very shortly. Thanks, guys.